For me, right, like I said earlier, if you tell me I'm a victim, I suppress it, and that's just who I am. I don't feel like victim and power operates in the same place. If I'm feeling like a victim, it's hard for me to engage my power. Yeah. So, so it's very hard for me to say this, that I regret something. I generally don't like to regret things in life. The one thing I regret ever in life, right, is ever picking up my hand to show one string of oko in that school.
Yeah, I think the problem is, it was very hard to not be part of this manual labor thing. First of all, it was a default.
I felt like if I avoided it and hide away, it was worth it. I felt like so many people got away with avoiding it.
Yeah, I mean, so part of you felt that everybody else did it, so it must be part of Nigerian culture, which it is kind of. But the other more important point is, if you did not cut grass, shrunk or whatever, there were other things that happened to us when we were juniors that you look, even then when it was happening to us and the school were making us do them, you were asking yourself, is this what I was supposed to be doing here?
Yes.
Like the stories about filling huge parts of the chapel with sand. It's just, and this happened relatively early in JSS1. Now, if you had been in my older brother's year group, right, or Lex's year group, right, they filled the other part of chapel the year before us, so they've done it twice. It was proper horrible manual labor.
Yeah.
So
it was.
It was very hard to escape from all of it. Some of it will catch you. You had to have really, extreme reasons for not being able to participate in it. My brother and Biodan and Akin's brother were slightly deformed on the left hand. Biodan's brother was deformed on the right hand. Wale was deformed.
Yes, I remember him.
They still had to do.
They still had to do manual labor. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's crazy that it's crazy when you're exposed, when you travel just a little bit, even if you watch movies. And you watch enough of it, you start to really process that these things will not really make sense. But then at the same time, just like you said in the book, it makes sense. It's just what it is. That's that ecosystem.
It's the way it was. It was the easiest way for them to solve it at the time. But I think if it was a problem that they felt they had to solve differently, then obviously these things always cost something. So the question is, did they have enough in reserves to kind of reduce the workload? Or you could say, actually, I guarantee you that if they said, let's say half the school were the ones that were doing the labor something, but as an incentive, as a compensation for the manual labor, they either served you more food or something.
There was a reward system, and you're right. That's the reason why. So in my little head at that time, I probably, like, you're always making choices in life, like I will salo and go and hide somewhere, right? Escape. And then it will cost me some teacher harassing me in front of everybody. That's for me as a person, that the weight of that consequence is probably like, nah, rather just go do what, so my life can be balanced the way I want. I perceive my life as a balanced life. And you said something earlier too. It's the same thing in the Nigerian society in general, that pain, pleasure. People don't change their behavior if there is no kind of pain or pleasure attached to the idea of changing it. We like to, especially those of us that grew up in church, we like to pretend that just because we love God, we are doing the right thing. On my show, I don't think anybody loves God more than Nigerians. That's number one. Number two, I don't want to take this into religion, but you know how I feel, right? I don't think anybody loves God more than Nigerians in the cap. They call it cap. In the cap version of loving God. I'm not talking about really loving God. I'm just talking about the cap version of it, right? Like the one where self-proclaimed, I love God. Even girls will tell you, I'm looking for a man who loves God. Yeah. They're looking for a balance between a man who loves God and hush puppy. the struggle is real across board in the society. Everybody watches things to deteriorate because at some point when they are making a decision, there is some kind of pleasure attached to that direction. Sometimes that pleasure is a sense of significance or a sense of safety. A lot of people attach their love of God to a sense of safety. It makes them feel safer in a society that doesn't have basic things like
being a crutch to lean on. Yeah, it's true.
Let me tell you a quick story. 2 weeks ago, was it 2 weeks ago? Osage, Sage sister, right? Speaking of Sage, the captain, right? We were at you saw the picture. We were at the sister's little baby's 2-year-old birthday party, right? And we were having a conversation. I said, there is the problem with Nigerian society is that there is a 99% chance, 99.99% chance that this thing will not blink before we leave here, right? Something as simple as that, right? It's kind of, if I said that, I'm saying it because I'm probably a little bit more self-aware than most average people. They don't even say it out like that, even people that live here, right? If I said that, right, and I go back, it's easy for me to see how, you don't mind sleeping in the house of God for 3 days. Never mind that you could be putting a resume together to submit for work, right? Different conversation, I get it. Guess what happened? In less than 40 minutes later, there was a light out 2 weeks ago. And we were like, they say it's my fault. The less than 1% chance happened right there in that moment. Before we knew it, all of the emergency lights came on, right? All that kind of stuff, right?
Came in.
So there is Tony Robbins has this thing called the 6 basic human needs. Security, right? Which we can probably group together as safety, right? Varieties, right? Contribution, significance, growth, and there's one more somewhere. I always miss one more, right? So there's those 6 basic human needs. No matter what it is that we're doing in life, I feel like God has given us He's given us the power to be able to do a lot, right? As a human experience, right? So that takes me to Living Spring, because Living Spring, right? You called it the Christian drama group in the book. I don't know why you avoided Living Spring. I have a feeling it's because there's a Living Spring in Ife. You didn't want to confuse it.
No, I think in general, I try to be neutral for someone who didn't go to Owo in this book. That's more where it came from. I mean, for people watching, this name brings all sorts of emotions for all the Unity Owo people.
Yes, it does.
It does. In fact, just to say, the book is written in a way that is trying to make the experience accessible to many people. What Ola is talking about, where he mentions Living Spring, will narrow this conversation to an experience that has its own. In fact, it's another book, because the experiences in this Living Spring Drama Group story is there are just as many good and bad things in it as what you find in this memoir. There are people who I know for a fact have told me that because of some of the ins and outs and the fallout of some of the experiences with Living Spring Drama Group and the Christian group, they were damaged and scarred and trauma. Actually, that's when they bring the word trauma in more.